So it is the monsoon season, and when you're out riding, the only thing worse than having mud splattered all across your jersey and your shorts is having someone tell you, "Kiti ganzala, kitna ganda hai," as if you didn't know, right? That happens at every signal, every time you stop your bike. So I thought I'd go ahead and get some bike mudguards. Maybe sacrificing some bike aesthetics, maybe not. These popped up on my feed. They are the Rockbros telescopic bicycle mudguards. They look pretty good, and they come in several colors. I picked the black ones, and so right up front, this is the rear guard, the bigger one, telescopic. This is how large it is really, and it is from the inside. Fairly good quality. I'm quite happy with how they look and how they feel. And for those interested, this weighs about 105 grams. Now this the front guard, a bit smaller. It doesn't, this only goes on the back of your fork. Doesn't have a bit that goes ahead. I don't really know if that's useful at all. This clocks in at about 60 grams. There's a bunch of other cool stuff in here as well. So this is a pretty handy light. I really like this. Has a couple of different modes. It has a replaceable battery as well, and it goes onto the back of the rear mudguard over here. And I think a good backup light for when you run out of juice in your primary rear light. There are also a bunch of mounting bits here, of course. So this is what you'd use to connect the rear guard directly to your seat stay. Now, if you don't have a mounting port on that, you could use something like this and this, which would allow you to connect it to your seat post, your saddle post. And then for the front guard, there is this simpler one. Get it out here. Now this one, I'll just go on like this, and again connecting to the mounting port on your shock. And if you don't have that, then this one goes into the bottom of your head tube, I think, that or your shock absorber. There's typically a hole there, maybe just mountain bikes have it, but again, this is another mounting option. So several mounting options available as well. So I think with all this stuff combined, you'd be looking at adding about 200 grams of weight to the bike. Not really much for some ass protection. And let's head on over to the bike and get this set up. So this is how the bike looks without mudguards, and I'm going to get the rear one set up first. This clamp comes with the mudguard set. I'm going to put this onto this point and can swivel. Or I'll give you this little piece here. If you do have the mounting point, it can go here and the mudguard will go on from there. Alright. As far as the front one is concerned, I do have a mounting point here. There's a bit of a hole here, so the mudguard will go off here and clamp on. But if you don't have that, then there's this. That'll go into the hole here, and then the mudguard would clamp onto the back of this. That's about it. So this is how the bike looks with the mudguards on. I think it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. Now, I'm not sure if this is the best position for the mudguard, but you can swivel it at this point and here. And this is how it looks. Telescope in. Let's put that in as well. Give you another look at the bike. Now, put them in. I think it's turned out rather well. So it's been about 3 weeks since I've installed these mudguards. I've taken the bike on only about half a dozen rides, say about 150 kilometers, and I haven't washed the bike so that you can have an idea of what the mudguards have been put through. This is how the drivetrain looks, fairly mucky, and I have, however, been washing my gilet. Unfortunately, this is how it looks after just 2 rides on the road, not riding through fast through water bodies or not intentionally going through puddles, just sensible riding in the rain. You can see that it's got mud on it all the way from the bottom all across the gilet really to the top. So the rear guards haven't performed all that well. I tried different positions. I tried this, I tried something like this, taking it farther back for better range, better coverage really, and I even tried something like this, taking it up, and I looked at my jersey, looked at the gilet after about 4 or 5 kilometers, and yeah, there was still mud on it, and I was quite disappointed. Now I didn't have the front guard on for my last ride, so the gilet got splattered, and can't really show you how that looks, but I'd like to say it performed better than the rear guard, noticeably less mud on my gilet and on my jerseys than not having a mud guard on at all. So I think the front was not half bad. Okay, so why don't these mud guards work well or well enough? When you're out riding in the wet, the position from which mud leaves your tire and the speed at which it leaves is affected by things like the tread on your tire and the diameter of your wheel. These 2 factors affect how much mud gets picked up. There's also the stickiness of the mud or the water, and most importantly perhaps is the speed at which you are going. Now mud leaves the wheel tangentially, so when you're looking at protection for your butt and your back, we want basically this zone to this zone covered, and you can see obviously this mud guard isn't doing that. Even if I take it farther back, loosen this and take it behind, it doesn't provide near enough the coverage that we need. Also want to point out that this mud guard does taper as you go behind, so it gets narrower and narrower, providing a little less coverage over my tire. It's not just that, you need more protection. There's this zone. Any mud or water that comes off here would get into motorists behind you, and this mud guard isn't going to do that. And there's mud that comes off here which would get into your legs and into your drivetrain. If you want good protection in the wet, what you really need is full mud guards. And full mud guards actually cover half your wheel. They start here and they don't end here, they end all the way here, right near where your drivetrain is. And if you look at the front, I have my mud guard removed here. This is how the Rockbros mudguard is. This is how big it is, and again you need protection all the way from here, which would protect again your drivetrain area and your legs, and protection in this zone really, which would prevent mud or water that kind of flies up as you ride from getting onto your front. And as you can see, this little thing does do a pretty decent job, but again it isn't near long enough. Now I bought these mudguards so that I could go out riding in the rain without having to wear a gilet. Really, it's quite hot riding with a gilet, and without having to worry about mud splatter. And while these mudguards do provide some protection, it's not like they are preventing mud splatter at all, as you have seen, and from that point of view, therefore, they're quite disappointing. I'm going to leave them on since they're already on the bike. Now, the monsoon season is, according to me, the best season to be riding, especially in a place like Pune where you have access to the really beautiful Western Ghat range. So I'd say, wear an old jersey or buy full mudguards. But as long as you ride sensibly, riding in the rain can be quite rewarding.